Good morning, my loves. I hope you had a wonderful and blessed Easter weekend. Today, we're going to go over a few lessons. Since we're starting Unit 2, it's the mammals, fish, the writing prompt, and we're going to do those today. And just go over them and talk about them. Come out of my downstairs bunker to do this video from upstairs, so it's a little easier. The lighting is definitely better if I come out of my underground bunker. So today, keep in mind, this is starting Unit 2. We will be getting new information and new packets probably starting next week. They haven't told us yet when those will happen, but I think that's what's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. So it'll happen this coming week. You'll get the new packets and the new material because this stuff you should be done with it pretty soon. And that's the goal, okay? Remember, the project here that we're working on is just to keep working. Yes, I know this is stuff we've covered before. We've covered mammals. I'm aware of all that. However, the goal is to keep you busy, keep your mind thinking, because a mind, it's your brain and it's a muscle. And if you don't use it, you'll lose it. So you gotta keep, I'm doing puzzles. I'm, of course, studying materials. Learning my Spanish still, and sometimes hitting the old piano, very few times, I'll tell you. Not great at that. But I'm trying, okay? There's a lot of free online classes now. You can learn piano, and of course I've had lessons, but that was a long time ago. So anyways, let's get started on mammals. And I debated whether to read it to you or not, because I know you have parents to read to you, but I really feel like it's probably better for me to go ahead and browse it with you. Those of you who are strong readers, you can skip through this part and get to the question set. But if you have questions about some of these words and stuff, you can at least figure that out by listening to me. So those of you who struggle to read, I want you to track with your finger. Find you something cool to track with if you don't want to use your finger, because just using your eyes can make you lose your place. Got to keep that reading fluency up. I can't tell you how important that is. So, here we go. Aha! Now we get to an animal group that I really know a lot about. Now, if you remember, who's this talking? Yes, our little friend Rattenborough. I, Rattenborough, am part of this group of animals myself. I'm talking about mammals. Think for a minute what you know about mammals. Correct. They give live birth. They have a lot of characteristics. Do you remember the characteristics that scientists use to identify mammals? Hair is one major characteristic. Live birth and giving milk to their young are others. They breathe oxygen from the air using their lungs. Mammals are also warm-blooded and they are vertebrates. Most scientists agree that mammals are the smartest creatures in the animal kingdom. I'm glad that's me. All animals communicate in some way. Dogs communicate by barking and wagging their tails. Cows moo, birds sing, some cats meow, others roar. But mammals seem to use the most complex forms of communication. Humans use language to talk. They also communicate with their faces and their hands. Some apes and chimpanzees have even been taught to use sign language to communicate. There are two other mammals that also seem to use an advanced form of communication. In fact, you may not even realize that these animals are mammals because they live in the ocean. Dolphins and whales are classified as aquatic mammals. Dolphins and whales, like other mammals, do not have gills like fish, so they cannot breathe underwater. Instead, they use blowholes at the top of their heads to blow out water and suck in air. Dolphins and whales rise to the surface of the water and poke their heads into the air to breathe. Whales and dolphins communicate by sending out sound waves through the water. These waves, called sonar, help them find their way through the ocean. The sound waves bounce off objects and echo back to the whale or dolphin. The whale or dolphin can tell the size, shape, and speed of objects and the distance away from them based on the time it takes to echo the sound or the echo sound to travel back to them. They also use their sounds to talk to each other. Such cool creatures out there. Dolphins and whales also give birth to live young. No eggs needed here. They even feed milk to their young. If you study them closely, you will learn that dolphins and whales have hair, not scales. I'm on the back page. They also have very thick skin. Their skin protects them from the cold and animals that are their predators. You might also be surprised to learn that bats are also mammals. Bats fly like birds, but they do not have the other characteristics that birds have. Bats have fur, not feathers. Their arms have wing-like flaps of skin, but they're not like bird wings. Bats also give birth to live young, and they produce milk. So scientists classify bats as mammals. Here's an interesting fact. Not all mammals give birth to live young. Blow my mind, what? The duck-billed platypus and spiny anteater both lay eggs like birds and some reptiles, but have all the other characteristics of mammals. Good luck finding one. They are very rare. Mammals have their fair share of odd members, like the duck-billed platypus, but the basic characteristics, hair, backbone, milk, warm-blooded, are always present in mammals, no matter what. All right, as we always do, comprehension questions. So the first one is, what three characteristics, of course this is backwards, let me just read it to you. Write three unique characteristics of mammals. Now, we should be able to do that pretty easily because we just talked about it, right? So what does your brain remember? I'm waiting. Nathan? Nathan knows. They have hair. Yes, good job, Nathan. Get your brain. Something else? Bella E? Did I hear you say something? Yes. They have live birth. Awesome. Got one more? Anybody? Jaden? What did you come up with? Yes, they produce milk for their young. That's a cool one. All right, so there's three unique characteristics. 2, list ways that some mammals communicate. Some of us use our hands, yes. What else? Jacob? Yes, echolocation. Bats communicate with that. Dolphins, whales. Those are some good ways. Now, you come up with some. Now, how do dolphins and whales breathe? We'll let you come up with those. And then the last. Bats are mammals, but what is the one thing they have in common with birds? Can you think of something? If you do, write it down. All right. So, well, Miss Thomas, I'm not turning this into you. Why do I need to write it down? Let me tell you. My daughter, both my daughters, myself included, Miss Harbaugh, anyone who's older than you knows that effectively communicating through writing is extremely important. Sometimes you won't be able to talk to someone. You've got to type it to them, text it to them, be able to write it to them, and your employer is going to expect you to do this. So it's important that you learn how to do these skills. So speaking of that, moving on. So answer those and see if you can impress your parents and show them how you can answer them on your own. Remember, use complete sentences. Don't just go, yeah. All right, the next one is about fish. Now, you remember what we did with this. And we'll let you read this one. Because you're going to have those times when you have to write without anybody instructing you not instructing you, but anybody reading it to you. So I want to see how you do writing the questions, answer the question set. Answer the question set. Don't skip this piece. This piece is going to help you with the next phase. Especially question 5. Okay. This is that writing response we did on salmon. So make sure it's about fish, but it's talking about salmon. You remember that. And this was where you had to write for 12 minutes on your own. I want you to set a timer. Everybody's got a cell phone or a kitchen timer or something. Set it for 12 minutes. Now, that's after you do all this other stuff. Don't jump to this right off. And on the back, the writing prompt tells you what you're supposed to write about. Pay attention to what the prompt says. That's what we talk about in class all the time. Explain, explain, explain. You got my papers back on that. I wrote notes on your papers about don't just copy from the text, or you can't take the information from the text. Remember, that's plagiarism, and plagiarism is against the law. We're not going to throw third graders in jail, but as you get older, it can be a big problem. You can flunk out of college from it. You don't want to do that because you have to pay for college. So, read the excerpt about fish. This comes straight from what you just read about fish. And then answer the prompt. I do want you to answer it at least 3 to 5 good sentences. That's a paragraph, and you should be able to do that in 12 minutes. Sydney, just to give you an idea of what's coming in your world, Sydney has to write sometimes 800 words 800 to 1100 in a 2-hour period. And that's from reading a prompt, and she's in high school. So it's coming, and you're going to have to do it. So practice it. I know I'm not there to beat you over the head. I don't beat you over the head because I love you. But to get you to do it. So it's important you do it, okay? So that's all for today. That's going to take you some time, but it shouldn't take more than an hour at best. So keep in mind, that's what we want you to do. Now, I am going to have to post this to YouTube. I've heard that they're working the kinks out with the Chromebooks on YouTube. The other video, you have to allow people in, and I think Lincoln had a problem with that. So that last video didn't fly as well, and I tried another way to load it right to Google Classroom, but that didn't work. So today, that's your assignment for Monday, and I hope you put your best foot forward. Remember, to be engaged keeps life interesting. So put down that video game for a little while. Work, read. I hope you're doing my reading challenge. I did notice 3 people last week were on it, and you just never know what Miss Thomas has up her sleeve. Also be looking for some love coming your way from me this week, and I can't wait to see you again. We will finish out nouns, verbs, and adjectives. Got some fun stuff going on there. Subjects and predicates. Oh my goodness, I'm probably going to have to play Star Wars by myself. Prefixes and suffixes, huge skill. Huge. Do not skip those pieces. Sentences and fragments. So we got quite a bit to cover this week, and we're going to be covering it pretty quickly because the new material is coming. So, you know I love you. Be looking for the love. If you have any questions, send them to me. Parents through ClassTag, kids through Google Classroom. Ms. Harbaugh and I will be glad to answer any questions you have. We miss you. This distance learning is new for all of us, and we appreciate your patience. And it seems like we're getting in a pattern now. So keep that pattern up every day. Work, work, work. Don't go through the whole packet at once. That does not work. Okay, that's not the way it's designed. And yeah, you're learning, but you're just cramming. And cramming doesn't help you retain anything. All right, so much love. Have a great Monday, and I'll see you soon.